Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Silent Man podcast. Your host Javier Talamantes. This is amazing. Like I said, and I just can't get tired of saying how blessed I am that I can have an audience to be able to heal myself and at the same time be able to be of service to all of you men and help you heal as well. By giving you the support and attention that all of us require as well. So, the silent man, let me give you the definition that I went ahead and came up with. The silent man is a deeply human, socially urgent, and emotional powerful podcast that explores the interior emotional worlds of adult men who have lived their entire lives upholding society's expectations to be strong, silent, and in control. Just take that in, guys. That's us right now. That's what we're going through, and we need to be able to voice this, in some cases, pain, the suffering, depression, the start of depression, because even though I've been through depression, I don't like to say that I've been in depression. And I'm not sure if you guys understand what that really means, but I just take it like, once again, it's the stigma, right? And we go back to, I'm doing the work just like you're going to be doing the work. And we're just going to continue doing the work together. And so, saying the word depression is like, in my case, it's a taboo, right? It's not something that we're supposed to say. It's like we're supposed to be strong, we're supposed to be, men of character, men that just take care of things. And, even when we're stressed, we just kind of bulldoze through it and we just handle things. And then, we'll deal with the stress afterwards. And I'm here to tell you guys that that doesn't work. That doesn't work. The only thing it's going to build is basically animosity, and not for others, right? Think about it. Animosity for yourself, for allowing yourself to almost like go through pain, right? To go through this pain that necessarily we don't need to go through pain, okay? Pain is almost like think of it like it's a choice, right? So today we're going to talk about choice. Everything is a choice. If we choose to be sad, it's a choice. If we choose to be depressed, it's a choice too. Whatever it is, it's a choice. And many of you might tell me you're like you're full of it, right? And maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. Maybe somebody needs to say it, right? And so if it's a choice and it's a momentary choice that we can basically think of it like a light switch, on, off, then we have the ultimate choice to be strong or to be weak or to be happy or to be sad. And so if we start exercising that, right? Think about it, the word exercise, right? We will start exercising our right to make choices that will benefit us. Because if we can benefit from the choices that we make, guess how that happens, right? It's almost like a waterfall, right? It'll start basically, showering the rest of the people that we say that we love in our life. Because if we don't, then we're almost like think of it like a spear, and we're isolated, and there's nowhere to go, and it's just recirculating, and it's bubbling to the surface until one day, you're mad at your kids, you're mad at your wife, you're upset, you're driving, you're upset at the drivers because they're not driving right, you're upset at people at your work, you're upset at, vendors because they're not shipping things to you, you're upset because things aren't being done the way you want them to. It's like you're upset about everything, and yet you can't find the answer of why you're upset, right? And I'll tell you right off the bat, it's got to do with the choices. If you start making responsible and accountable choices that benefit you, right? And you have to think about how powerful that is. responsible, accountable choices that we make that will benefit our lives. Because if we can do that, that means we're going to be healthier. That means we're going to be also stronger, and we're also going to be more resilient. And we won't allow things like depression, you know, anger, you know, frustration, stress. We won't allow all that in. And so if we're not allowing that in, it's giving us a place where we can grow. And if we can grow, then we can do things that we really want to fix in our lives, and, and repair relationships as well. So, and like I said, just think about it. Choice is something it's such a powerful thing. And so we're not to give it to anyone, okay? And so we'll keep choices, and we'll make choices for our own lives based off of the things that are going to serve us, and our families. So let me get into, there was a seminar I went to, and in that seminar, they had this specific, it was like a specific exercise, okay? And remember, guys, the work that we're doing to help each other, it all stems from, our childhood, right? And I keep repeating this, 70 to 80% of the programs that will run us, into adulthood are learned when we're 4 to 8 years old. So let me walk you through this, okay? And this is it's going to be a quicker exercise than I want it to be, but when we meet in person and we start doing our work outside, right? And we start meeting for events that we'll hold for the Silent Man podcast, I will go ahead and I will actually lead you from the front, and we'll walk through this in its entirety. But let's just go ahead and do a quick little example of it, okay? And you don't need to do the exercise with me. I'll walk you through it. And like I said, anyone that's interested, look us up on social media. Get in contact with us. Also, the Silent Man Manifesto will be available to any and all that request it, and that's a powerful, powerful tool, because basically it's talking about man's plight and everything that we go through, and the things that we, and sometimes find that, there's like a mountain that we can't get over. So please go ahead and request that, and we'll go ahead and get that out to you immediately. And like I said, further support for you and the people that you love around you. So they called it the junkyard, okay? And so the junkyard went something like this. So you close your eyes, and they're walking you through this exercise, and as you're walking through these humongous gates into this junkyard, right? And there's piles and piles. And I mean, just envision this. There's piles and piles and piles of memories of things you've gone through in life. And, in some cases there were successes, in some cases there were failures, in some cases, it was sadness, happiness. There's all these things, but these mountains of relics, right? Because that's really what they are. Any type of memory you have in your mind that doesn't let you benefit from who you are now, because we all grow, okay? And who we were yesterday doesn't define who we are now. So the junkyard goes something like this, right? So you're walking through these humongous gates, right? And you're walking in with your eyes closed, and you're walking in step, right? But in your mind, you're walking through these humongous gates, and then they tell you to look to your right, and then look to your left, and you see these humongous, just relics of all your memories and everything else that are in your mind. And so they make you, they ask you to go up to one of piles, and then just start rummaging through the pile and sifting through all the pieces and all the memories and everything else. And then they ask you to pull this piece out, right? And this piece is it's meant to be your heart, right? And it's not your normal heart now as an adult. It's the heart that you had when you were a little child, right? And think about that, guys. If we could go back, right, and we could do away with a lot of things that have gone on in our lives. In some cases, divorces, in some cases, broken relationships, in some cases, broken promises, on and on and on, and anything you can think about. It's like, and if you could go back there and you go back to being that little child, right? The little child, remember when we were kids, we were we were perfect. Like, in the sense that we didn't know what wrong was. We didn't know, what pain was. We didn't know what, depression was. We didn't know all those things. All we knew was, hey, let's go play. Let's go do this. Let's happy, everything happy. So we're reaching into this pile and we pull out this little heart, right? And so they ask you to put it, towards your heart, right? And they ask you to just let it in, and then they ask you to look to your right, right? And so you got this heart, right? And you're just, you got your eyes closed and you've got this little heart and you're putting it inside of you and you're getting that inner child back into you, right? At least a piece of it. And then they say, look to your right. And then so you look into your right. And remember, you got your eyes closed, and this is still just all in your mind. And they say, who is it? And they say, oh my gosh, it's the younger version of yourself. This is a little 4 or 5 year old little child, and then the little child's running towards you, and then they ask you to kneel down and pick up this child, and so. And this was powerful, guys. I'm telling you, when I did it, I mean, it just completely blew me away, going back and actually envisioning, the child in me. And we forget, right, that we were kids. We forget that we were like that. We forget that, we weren't always the way we are now. We forget all those things. And so when I kneeled down and I picked up this child and I'm just like hugging this little child and I'm just, I'm letting them know that, that everything that I've become, it's like, I forgive myself and, it's not who I am. And it's like, it's just, going on and on and on. And then finally it's like, the person, the moderator is basically says, okay, now put the little child back down, but before you do, let them know that you love them and let them know that, that you'll see them soon, right? And so now you got to put this little child back down, and allow the child to go back into this. Really, the ugliest, at least in my mind, it was an ugly, junkyard, and it had a lot of bad memories and a lot of things that had gone on in my life. And so, then the little child goes running, towards the piles and between the piles. And as he's getting to the end, right, he turns around and he just waves at you, right? So he's waving at me and I'm waving back and I'm like, and in the back of my mind, all I could think about was, come back, like, I need you, right? And so, thinking about that right now, and I talk about this in a lot of the episodes that we have. It's like, that was 2002, 2003. Then it was relived at a later time because I went ahead and I did the seminar all over again and was able to go ahead and experience it all over again. But that first time, how powerful it was, and like being able to let go of the shame and let go of a lot of the stuff that was in that in that junkyard that I finally learned that it had nothing to do with who I am now. You know, once again, guys, we're not perfect. None of us are. But we can definitely, like I've mentioned in past episodes, we can get back into agreement with the higher self that we are now. And we're able to forgive ourselves for maybe a bad business decision, maybe putting your family in a tight bind, making decisions that basically, once again, that they maybe put your family at risk. And once again, guys, I'm not talking about anybody out there. I'm talking about myself, and I use this forum to also, utilize this time to heal as well. And every time I bring up something, just like I did right now, even though it's been, 20 something years ago, it's like I've just relived that moment all over again. But this time, not only did I relive it, I'm also getting something new from it. That may be the first time I didn't get. And once again, guys, powerful moment to be able to relive that. But I'm giving you these same tools. Once again, you've got this humongous toolbox, right? And it might not be full right now, but it will get full with all the tools that I'm going to be, bringing to the table, giving them to you, making them part of who you are, so you can use on an everyday basis to basically use to heal, use to allow yourself to be to forgive yourself for sometimes things that you've done, sometimes people that you've wronged, sometimes relationships that you've broken. And you know what? It's okay. Like, it's okay even to reach out to some people and just let them know that you're sorry, that you apologize from the bottom of your heart. And in some cases, it might not, and it's like whatever works for you. But just understand, like, we're going to continue doing this work, and I'm going to continue to put myself out there. Like I told you in past episodes, I'm stripping away all the armor, I'm breaking all the walls down, and I'm making myself 100% vulnerable in order to be able to bring you, these insights, in regards to things that have happened in my life. And so with the most sincere and deepest wishes that I have for all of you men, I invite you to join us and to do the work every single day. We're going to be doing the work, and we're going to be putting these podcasts out there, these episodes out there, so you can be part of what we're going through, as a group, not just as an individual, right? Because like I said, I think one of the hardest things to be a man in these days and times is, financially, it's a lot harder to go ahead and make ends meet, number one. And number two, it's just how do we go ahead and, juggle, right? Because sometimes we have to go ahead and do a lot more work for maybe less pay. And sometimes we're not there for our families. So always remember our families, just the way we all say, they're number one. We do everything for them. We go into work for them. We sacrifice for them. We do everything that we can for them. Yet we don't invite them in to see the things that we suffer with, the things that we go through on an everyday basis, And like I said, I'm talking from my point of view. Every single day that goes by, I either, I'm living it throughout the day, or I'm sometimes in my dreams, I'm reliving it and trying to make sense of things. But there's always some type of work that I'm doing on myself. And, as in before, in the episodes before, I give you that other tool, right? Is to, if something does happen, right? Like, let's say just right now, you're everything's fine, everything's going great. And all of a sudden, financially, you're hit with this time bomb, and it's like next you know, you're like, oh my gosh, well, I don't know what to do. Like, I wasn't expecting this. Now I got to come up with X, Y, Z because otherwise I'm going to be in a world of hurt. I'm going to have issues. I'm not going to be able to meet my commitments. Whatever it is. Okay, before you do anything, guys, take that and isolate it, right? Because our minds can only work on one thing at a time. So take that, isolate it, and now surround it with options. Because at the end of the day, all that is, regardless of how big or how small it is, it's just the problem. And we have to only focus on the solutions and surround it until something gives. And I guarantee you, if you do this and you isolate the moment and you kind of just push everything out and you work on this, you will get the solutions coming out of your mind like nobody's business. Like they'll just start flowing, right? Because our minds are like anything else. We are the author of our life. So we can't allow our mind to come in and start doing editing and taking things out and putting things in. So once again, another tool, put it in your toolbox. And then we're happy to invite you, like I said, into our home. I'm happy to invite you into my life and become part of the Silent Man movement, because this is humongous, guys, and it's not going to go ahead and this is just going to continue to grow and grow, because I know there's millions and millions and millions of men out there that need exactly what we're offering, and that's support, and that's basically brother to be a brother to one another, and to be there for each other, and to open up our hearts and allow people to come in. So like, click, and subscribe. We will see you next episode. Thank you so much.